爱中相互超过了这样说。
Wait, hang on. All the way back here.
My car should be interesting because
Hey，我真不敢相信这件事情发生了。
Dude, no way! I told you!
You're not gonna believe what just happened.
Long ago, this is what they felt like when it happened. And today, it's how we should feel too. Because what it meant for them, it means for us.
Well, good morning, church. Good morning. So glad to be with you all here this morning as we get to celebrate this day of resurrection together. We're so excited to get the opportunity to celebrate the knowing that we have a future. And our future is a great one, knowing that God has sent His Son down to not only live here, but to die here, but to be resurrected once again and give us the opportunity to do the same. You know, we've been in a series right now over Moses and the life of Moses and him working together with the great I Am. We have been so blessed to be able to see Moses from the very beginning, from the time of him beginning in the basket of the waters, all the way to where we are now, to where the Egyptians have finally released the Israelites, and great things are going to be happening. You know, it reminds me of a story. Stephen was an 8-year-old little boy. Stephen was a member of a family that came to church all the time, and he was excited about coming to his Bible class. He loved his 2nd and 3rd grade class. He felt like he got something from it every week. And this family is probably a lot like yours and mine. Then on Sunday afternoon, whenever they were done with worship, they came home and they were having lunch. The discussion became one that's pretty obvious. So, how was church for everyone today? Did you have a good class today, Stephen? What did you learn about in class today? Stephen got really excited. His eyes lit up a little bit. He says, today was the best day. They said, well, why's that? Because we learned about the Israelites. And they're like, really? Great. Well, tell us about it. He said, well, here's what happened. See, Moses came to the Israelites, and they formed a group of people to revolt against the Egyptians. They got into this group, kind of like a militia. And then what they did was, they made this plan on how they were going to break free from the Israelites. And so they got together, and they got it all together, and what they did was, after they made their plan and they got it all ready to go, they got out their Humvees, their Jeeps, their tracked vehicles, and their 16-wheelers, and they loaded up everything in them, and they just took off. And whenever they took off, they went into the desert, and they were just like driving as fast as they could. And when Pharaoh realized that they were gone, he wasn't going to get them back. Well, he sent his troops after them, and his troops were following them from a distance, and they were like shooting these missiles to the left and to the right of them. And they were going through, and the missiles were exploding on the left and on the right. And then Pharaoh sent his jets over. And his jets were doing flybys and dropping stuff on the ground. And he was scaring them half to death. They just kept on going in their cars. And they're like, and then what happened, Steve? And he said, well, then they ran into the Red Sea, and there was nowhere to go. And they're like, really? And he says, yes. The waves were crashing in the Red Sea. Pharaoh was coming at them with all the missiles, and they were losing it. They didn't know what to do. And they're like, well, then what happened, Steve? And he says, well, then the Corps of Engineers built a pontoon bridge across the Red Sea. And then they crossed the Red Sea on the pontoon bridge. And they're like, really? And he said, yes. When they got all the way across, Pharaoh and his army started rolling their tanks and everything across the bridge too. And then what, Stephen? Well, they had dynamite on the pontoon bridge and they blew it up. And Pharaoh and all his people, they just fell into the water and they drowned, they died. And then the Israelites, they just crossed over the promised land and lived happily ever after. Okay. Mom and Dad just kind of looked at each other, and part of them was kind of like, well, this is kind of exciting. He has such an incredible imagination. Or did he? And they said, is that really what you were taught in Bible class? And he says, not exactly. But if I told you what they told me, you would never believe it. When we look at this story, when we look at this moment in history, where we are today, where we have Moses who has led this nation into the desert and around to the Red Sea, and as God has started to do his incredible works, although God has already taken the firstborn, God knows that Pharaoh is still not really ready to relent. Pharaoh let them go because he was upset. He let them go because bad things had happened, but he still never revered God. And God comes up with another plan, and as these Israelites are following a cloud by day and a fire by night, they've seen God do these incredible plagues and brought the Egyptians to their knees. They're following with jubilance and excitement. They're not worried about going to the desert. God's got this, we're going to be fine. And they roll up onto the Red Sea. And God intentionally places them in such a way to where it looks like it's impossible for them to escape. And he entices Pharaoh to come after him one more time. And Pharaoh bites on the bait. The only problem is the Israelites still just don't have enough faith in God. And this is where we are at this moment as we go into Exodus 14. 13 through 16 it says, Moses answered the people, do not be afraid. Stand firm and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. Then the Lord said to Moses, why are you crying out to me? Why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to move on. Raise your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea to divide the water so that the Israelites can go through the sea on dry ground. There's 4 things in here that are pivotal for them to have success. And it mirrors us today. Today of all days, today that the entire world stops and acknowledges that our Savior rose from the grave. He beat death. He went through death, came through it, arose again, and defeated it. It's the dirtiest trick ever on Satan. To let Satan think for 3 days that he had won, only to smite him on the 3rd day and say, not really. I still have this. The Israelites are chomping at the bit. And Moses says, do not be afraid. In Isaiah 41:10, it says, so do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will hold you with my righteous right hand. Do not be afraid. Number 1. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? As I read it, I think, what are you afraid of? Have you not seen what he's done? Did you not watch the hailstorm? Did you not watch death come through? Have you not seen the locusts and the flies and the frogs and the blood? Have you not seen that huge pillar that you've been walking behind for the last couple days? Have you not seen that fire? What are you so afraid of? And I think sometimes it's so much like the way that we are when we see people and their struggles in life. And we look at it and we go, I just don't get why they're sad in such a hard time. Don't they know that God loves them? Don't they know that God will take care of them? Why aren't they just turning to God? Because they're afraid. Because God, when you really turn to God, you have to actually give up control. And he says, don't be afraid. Secondly, he says to them, stand firm. Stand firm. What does that even mean? Don't be afraid. Quit making your knees knock. Stand firm. Don't be afraid. Don't give up any ground. You belong here. They don't control you anymore. Your God has set you aside for something special. And God says that to us today. In 1 Corinthians 16:13, he says, be on your guard. Stand firm in the faith. Be courageous. Be strong. 1 Corinthians 15:58, it says, therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, stand firm. Let nothing move you. Always give yourself fully to the work of the Lord. He says, stand firm. As Christians, it is our job to stand firm. We stand in the gaps and we stand strong. In the midst of adversity, we stand up. In the midst of trials when the world can't handle it, we are the ones that handle it. And we can do incredible things that the world cannot do, not because of our own power, but because of the one who gives us everything that we have. He didn't say stand firm when God wasn't around. God was there in their midst. He reminded them, don't be afraid. Stand firm. Do you not see the pillar right there? Have you not seen God working for the last several days right here? Stand firm. This is not the time to run. This is not the time to be afraid. If you look at the scriptures, it says that the Israelites actually come, as we read before what I read to you, the Israelites come up to Moses and say, it would have been, what did you lead us out here to die in the desert? We would have been better back in Egypt. At least there, we could make bricks and we had a house and some food. You led us out here to die. And Moses says, stand firm. In our Christian walk, when we are moving towards God, we're moving to where God wants us to be, there are going to be times that we have to move in areas that are going to be really scary. We have to remember, God has something better for us than what we've left back there. And we can't get so enticed in what was back there and start saying to ourselves like they were, back there's not that bad. We need to wake up and realize, yes it is. Compared to what God has to offer you, yes it is. Stand firm. After that he says, the Egyptians see you today, you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. How difficult is that? In the midst of stuff that's going on, whenever you're panicked and you're frightened, what is it to be still? To stay calm. To stay relaxed. To know that everything is okay. How scary is it when you feel threatened to trust that it's going to be all right? Psalms 46:10 says, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. Psalms 37:7 says, be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. God is still here with us. Even in the times that we don't see him, even in the times whenever the world is pressing down on us and it's shooting those missiles and it's running up on us with their chariots. And it looks like there's no other way out. God will not lead you into a corner. That's not what our God does. Our God makes new doors. He's not one that leads you into corners. So if you trust in him, he will open up a door that you have not even seen there. Just like he does with the Red Sea. Finally, when we look at this, it says, then the Lord said to Moses, why are you crying to me? I love this because God basically says, I've been doing all this stuff. I've led you the whole way. Do you think that I just got lost all of a sudden? Why are you crying to me? Have I not led you this whole way before now? Tell the Israelites to move on. In essence, why did you stop? I didn't call a break. I didn't say it's time to stop. Move on. And as we read the scriptures, I love what happens after this. Moses raises up that staff. The winds blow. God moves from the front to the back and protects his people. And he allows Pharaoh to come no closer to do no damage to them. And God makes a way. That's who our God is. That's what our God does. Our God is an incredible God that when we can't figure out a way, he makes a way. But not only does he make a way, he protects us while we're trying to figure out how to get through that way. God understands that sometimes we have to have a little encouragement. God understands that we're not always Johnny on the spot. God understands that we need some help through some things, and instead of rebuking us, he says, move on. Just put one foot in front of the other. It all starts with one step. And for some of you all, maybe today, this is your one step. This may be your very first step. For some of you all visiting with us today, you may have come here today because it's Easter, and you've been told that's what you're supposed to do. You may have come here today because it's the day you're supposed to be with family, and your family comes here. Thank you for being here. But God had a bigger plan for you than just to see your family today. God has a plan for you. He is parting the waters today for you. God doesn't want any of us to stay where we are. He wants us to move forward. And as much as the world presses down on us, as much as the world tries to tell us that we can't do it, as much as the world starts to pressure us, thinking that there's no hope, you have to remember who God is and allow him to help you move forward. In Job 17:9, it says, the righteous keep moving forward. Those with clean hands become stronger and stronger. The righteous will keep on moving. It doesn't say that it's an easy move, but it's still a move. When we used to take kids hiking up in Colorado, high elevation, 14,000 feet, sometimes all you tell them to do is just take one more step. It's worth it when you get to the top, just take one more step. I was continually telling myself, it's worth it, just take one more step. I was also telling myself, can EMT get up this high? Take one more step. But you gotta just take one more step. God says, move on. 3 things I want you to know. You don't have the ability, and I don't have the ability to rescue myself. Just don't. We wander around in this desert. We wander around trying to figure it out. We start following God fine. When everything looks good and positive, we are quick to follow. But when things get hard pressed, what we have a tendency to do if we're not careful is try to take things out of God's hand and put it into our hands. I'm letting you know this morning, you cannot rescue yourself. Turning back and fighting the Egyptians, turning back and fighting the world is not an option. You will lose. There's no hope in that. There's only one hope, and that is through God. It is through his Son, Jesus Christ. It is through those waters that God set for us that we move forward. Secondly, leaving the past is intimidating when we have to trust and surrender our future. It just is. God, I trust you. God, I will follow you. What does that mean? I don't even know. God speaks to your heart. God tells you what he wants from you. And you look at that and go, that doesn't fit into my 5-year plan. And God says, I know, but that's not, your 5-year plan is not my 5-year plan. Follow me. Trust me. I'm sure there were Israelites in the midst of them following the cloud and the fire that were going, why are we going around the long way to get where we need to go? It only makes sense, though, if you study history. The short way to get where they wanted to go, every 8 miles was an Egyptian outpost. Every 8 miles they walked, they would have ran into more Egyptians. Over and over and over again. There would be confrontation after confrontation after confrontation. And when we try to lead ourselves in our own way, we don't surrender our future to God, we start going down a path that looks like the right path that gives us turmoil time and time and time again. But God says, follow me, let me take the lead, and I will get you where you need to go. It may be scary from time to time, but I'm still God, I'll still protect you, and you'll still get there. There is something better for you. And finally, only when you trust and follow through the waters will you be free. God made it so simple. He does so many parallels in the Old Testament, letting us know what He wants from us in the New Testament. And this is just another one. I don't think it's any coincidence that the way that the Israelites become free, the way that they get away from the bondage that was holding them, is only through the water. God today set it up for us that it's only through the waters of baptism that we can be free. It is only through following His direction that we are free. It's only through dying to ourselves and our old ways and not being able to turn back that we ever get where God intended for us to be. In John 14:6, Jesus answered and says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. There is no other way. There's no other way around. He is the only way. The one who died for you and I, the one who rose for you and I, He is the only way. Mark 16:16 says, whoever believes and is baptized will be saved, but whoever does not believe will be condemned. He says it is only through these waters that you have life. The Israelites were never going to be free from the Egyptian bondage if they didn't go through the water. I can only imagine how intimidating it must have been walking with an ocean or a sea on either side of you. Feeling the rush of the wind that is holding the waters back, stepping on the ground that was once covered with water, and walking through. It's intimidating, knowing that at any point the breeze slows down, that you're not going to be there anymore. And it's intimidating for us to know that the only way for us to truly find peace and happiness and freedom from the things that bind us is to go through the death of baptism and the resurrection through the waters. It's the only way. For some of us, we've done that so long ago. We've walked through the water and we've made mistakes. And we feel like we've been wandering for a long time, kind of like they do later on in the desert. But God is always going to provide for you. God will always take care of you. You are His people, and He loves you. All He asks for you to do is follow Him. If you follow Him, He will get you where you need to be. If you're worried about what job you need to take, if you need to make a change in where you're living, if you're worried about the relationship that you're in, follow Him. He will take you where you need to go. If you're worried, if you're doing the right thing ethically with your business, if you're worried about if you have a good relationship with your neighbor, follow Him and He will lead you where you need to go. God does not lead His people in the wrong direction. Just because the world does not see and understand the way that God leads does not make it wrong. It makes it that much more right. Because we don't need to be trusting the thing that is entrapping us and is making us slaves to it. We need to be trusting the thing that offers us freedom. And that is God. And like I said, it's only through those waters that we get there. And that's what He wants for us. God cut through and led the way. He does it in the Old Testament, and Jesus does it in the New Testament. Jesus makes it so clear to us what we need to do. And He offers that to you, and He offers that to me. He wants you to be by His side with Him in eternity. The Israelites were promised a promised land, a land that flowed with milk and honey, a land that had all they would ever need and more, a land that would give them what they were needing to sustain life here on earth and have a great life here on earth. Our Christ offered us so much more. Christ says, no, I'm not going to lead you to the promised land here on earth. I'm going to lead you to the eternal promised land, where everything will be what you want and more. Where there's no more sorrow, there's no more death, there's no more tears. There's just life in abundance. And I am there, and my Father is there. And you will finally be free the way that my Father intended you to be. Complete with me, with Him forever. That's what He leads to us. That's the reason why we are here this morning. That's the reason why we sing what we sing. Because our Savior led us through death, and He arose. And He let us know that we are not bound here anymore. We are not bound by death to stay here. But God has a place for us. If you want that, if you need that, if you're looking for God to give you more direction, He wants to give that to you. He is offering it for you. The pillars in front of you. The enemies are behind you. And the question is, are you willing to cut through the waters? Are you willing to follow where you need to follow? If you are, and you need help with that, whether it be through prayers, through study, through baptism, please give us the opportunity to let you help you with that. Take time during this song to just pray to God to give you direction. Take time to come before the elders and let them help you if they can. If we can help you with any of that today, let's do that now as we stand and as we sing.